The biggest disadvantage of composite is that it stains. And yes, there is a solution. Every patient that I have asked is always telling me, like, do you like the before and afters on my Instagram? And they're like, oh my God, yes, they are amazing. Yes. You know, like all of them, they're amazing. And then, you know what? 80% of these people, when they first saw their teeth, they said, I don't like it.
Yeah.
They're too big. We are looking at the patient and we are like, oh my God, you look amazing. And the patient was like, I don't like it. And I was like, okay, what's going on here? What's happening? We had patients literally crying and saying, I hate it. There's one thing that I always wanted to say. Please subscribe. Can I skip the clear aligners bit? Can I go straight away to the composite?
Good afternoon and welcome at Positeeth's first vidcast. I am Rafaela.
And I am Haris.
And we are a dentist at Positeeth. Would you like to tell us what is Positeeth representing?
Positeeth is it's an idea. it's a way of living. First of all, I have to say this is our first ever vidcast, and I'm super excited. I'm not sure if we're going to do it properly. Let's find out. And the reason that we feel the need to do this is because I don't think that people are informed enough on the options, especially nowadays the technology has evolved so much that we can have cosmetic dentistry without damaging teeth. So I guess, and this is what we were talking earlier as well, that these vidcasts, they should be about non-invasive dentistry. How do we keep our smile spot on constantly without damaging our teeth in a reversible way? So like, it's kind of like, let's make cosmetic dentistry as if you're going to the hairdresser. Like I can change my style, my color. So yeah. So Positeeth was kind of built with that idea. I think that in the future, we're going to manage to convince people and dentists that doing a little bit of clear aligners, a little bit of composite bonding, I think is the magic mixture to get an amazing smile without damaging anything and 100% reversible. So yeah, I think this is Positeeth.
I'm actually really glad that you're focusing on the non-invasive part of Positeeth's procedures. And this is because we can see many people going to Turkey nowadays to have their teeth damaged in order to get the smile they're dreaming of. And we are now here to talk about other ways of getting the smile you've always been dreaming of without actually damaging your natural teeth.
Yeah.
So, would you like to tell us a few things about what is composite bonding in general?
Okay, composite bonding it's not a new thing. It literally started with the discovery of composites, if you think of it. Composites, for all the non-dental viewers, it's simply the white filling material. That's it. So composite bonding, we are using white filling material in order to mask defects or reshape the teeth or change the shade of the teeth. So these are the three things that we can do really with composites. This is what is composite bonding. Yeah, it's simply with simple words.
Lovely. So now at Positeeth, we have introduced PosiBond. So what is the main difference between normal composite bonding and PosiBond?
Yeah, PosiBond, wow. I mean, for years, the thing is that regular composite bonding, it's super technique sensitive. it's not for every dentist, maybe. Not that they cannot do it. It's just that it's something that you get better with lots of practice.
Mm-hmm.
All my life, I was loving working with composites. So I started I graduated in 2000, which is, oh my God, my age. Yeah, so 25 years now in dentistry. Even as a young dentist, I was literally fixing front teeth for free for my patients, my NHS patients, in order to see and perfect my technique, really. For that reason, there are plenty of techniques out there which are kind of similar all in between them,
Mm-hmm.
that they are trying to skip the bit that you have to educate yourself on how to do composite bonding. Like you need to train at least 4 or 5, maybe even 6 years before you say confidently, like, "Oh yeah, let me give you a nice smile." So yeah, out there at the moment, there is this. Should I say brands? I don't know. Let's not mention any brands.
No.
There's no point. But
there
there
is
are
a plethora of techniques.
yeah, plenty of companies that they're kind of offering the same thing, though, don't you think?
Yes, pretty much the same. It's always direct composite bonding. It's not indirect composite bonding, which was really what dentists needed.
Yes, and you get all these courses that they're teaching you how to do direct composite.
Yes.
But the truth is that no matter how many courses you're going to do, if you don't train every day for hours,
Yes.
you will never get there. And that's why these seminars, they usually fail in as well.
Mm-hmm.
They're not failing to deliver the knowledge. The knowledge is there. But how do you learn to play the piano if you don't play for 4 hours every day for 5 years?
Yes.
It's kind of the same thing. So I can explain you the notes and everything. You can get it, the theory.
Yes.
But then when you try to do it, it's like, oops.
So why is PosiBond different?
Yeah, to return to that question, really, most of the techniques most of the seminars, they are teaching direct bonding, but there are some seminars that they are teaching indirect methods, which means that we use something in order to achieve a very predictable result. So we don't need the dexterity anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Out there are systems that they're using stent, plastic, silicone stent, different variations. We have 2 types of composites, the kind of the thick ones. I'm talking with simple words for the people that they listen, like plasticine composite, and then we have flow composites that they flow, they're more runny. So the 2 indirect methods that are out there at the moment, they are based either on the first or the second type of composites, and literally all of them, they're using a stent that you either squirt inside the flow composite, or you put it in advance and then you squeeze hard, and then good luck dealing with the excess.
Yeah, as a dentist, I understand the pain. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And the main question to answer to that, what is Positeeth doing differently? I think that we haven't reinvented the wheel, really. 3D printers have been there since the 80s, literally, even earlier, but they weren't so dentistry concentrated.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're concentrating more on 3D printers, and because of the scanners are becoming more and more popular. So what we have done is we thought, well, should I say about the idea, how it happened?
Yeah.
The story behind it. If you remember, I have to say to everyone that we started with Rafaela 4 years ago, Positeeth. And we started mainly as a clear aligners providers and the bonding was actually secondary to the clear aligners. this is how it was working. We were saying like, okay, let's do a solely practice that is going to be doing clear aligners, and then at the end bonding, so you can always get a very nice result. Then at some point, this shift started having the people, they started saying like, can I skip the clear aligners bit? Can I go straight away to the composite? And we were like, maybe, yeah, but first of all, doing direct composite, it's a lot of work. So if you like plan to do 8 or 10 teeth, especially if you're a dentist, you will know what it means. And we were like, yeah, let's straighten them first, and then we can do this, a little bit of composite bonding on top of it. And we were literally trying to figure out, we were testing for 2 years how to do indirect bonding, but without all the issues that the traditional indirect bonding comes with.
So what is composite bonding for all these people out there wondering?
Yes. So we have explained that there are 2 ways, the direct and the indirect. The direct, it's quite clear. We're taking composite, and then the dentist, if he's good enough, he's sculpturing really nicely your new smile. It usually takes 3 to 4 hours. And then you have a nice smile. The indirect methods now. So these are using stent, which is the dentist takes an impression or a scan of the teeth. It sends it to the laboratory. The laboratory will design the new smile with the lab technicians in a traditional manner, the same way that they do crowns and bridges. And then this model that they will create, they take impressions of it and they create a silicone or a plastic, it depends on the company really, stent, that either it has little holes for every tooth in order to put flow composite and squirt it in, or it has maybe some kind of matrix bands in between the teeth, and you fill these little gaps with a composite that is like plasticine, really, like a harder one. And then you try to adjust all these matrix bands in between the teeth. And as you press hard, all that excess, it's a nightmare. If you're a dentist, you know what I mean. And good luck cleaning that.
Okay.
And these are the 2 main techniques at the moment. So straight away we can see, the advantages, we know what they are. You have a great smile. This is the advantage. Okay. Let's talk about the disadvantages of using both techniques. With the direct composite bonding, one of the main disadvantages is, as we said, the dexterity of the dentist. Not every dentist has trained piano for 5 years. So no matter how much he's willing to deliver, he cannot give a nice result. Or he might be actually very good with his hands, but his perception of what is nice, it may not align with the patient's. And then even though the execution is good, the result is still not good because aesthetically it doesn't align with what the patient has in his mind. That's a huge problem, even with any technique, really.
Yes, that's the trickiest part of doing composite bonding free-handed.
Yes. Well, with any technique, really. But the thing is that if you're using a technique that is a fairly fast, wink, wink, PosiBond, then you have much more time to concentrate on the aesthetic part at the very end, because you're not exhausted by doing the whole thing in the first place. So the major disadvantage from the indirect techniques, as we said, direct dexterity of the dentist, and I would say actually, let's look at the medical point of view as well. Nobody talks about the degree of conversion. I'm sorry, big word. Degree of conversion, it means that the material itself, it's a chemical thing. And the way that it becomes transformed from elastic, plasticine, to a hard substance, there is a chemical reaction that is happening. This is called polymerization. The polymerization, before it starts, the material, it's actually quite toxic. It's not a good thing for you.
Yes.
When it's 100% polymerized, then it's okay. Then it's good and it doesn't affect your health. And yeah. So this transformation from elastic through polymerization to a hard substance is called polymerization, and the material itself is going to harden to a certain percentage. So maybe we can have 70, 80, 90, 100% of all the free monomers that they polymerize. And this is what we call degree of conversion. Good. We want the degree of conversion to be as high as possible. We want it to be 100%, to be super healthy. When we do fillings in the mouth or bonding, the thicker the layer that you apply, the less degree of conversion you're going to get in the end. And it's very hard, you're a dentist, you know that, to control the thickness of the material as you sculpture in teeth.
Yes.
So it's inevitable. At some point, you will have free monomer. Actually, there are papers about that, and they all agree that when we do a simple filling or free-handed bonding, the degree of conversion, it's never above 65%, which means that we release lots of toxicity into organism. Don't panic out there. We've been doing this for 50 years now. It's not the best thing to have white filling materials in your mouth, but it's not as bad as it sounds at the moment, but it is an issue as well. So as scientists, we're always trying to drive the whole thing to the best possible, the healthiest option. So yeah, these are the two disadvantages of the direct: dexterity, degree of conversion, and time consuming. The patient is with his mouth open forever. And the dentist is sweating as well with the patient.
Yes, but from the patient's point of view, it's really tiring.
It is.
And especially if after all these hours, let's say 5-6 hours of having composite bonding done on your teeth, if you're not happy with the result, this can be very frustrating. And then you might need even more time to fix whatever the patient doesn't like. It's time consuming.
Yes. I mean, in general, and for dentists and for patients, doing composite dental bonding free-handed, it's not an easy thing.
Yeah.
It's actually, it's time consuming, hard process. It may not work. Lots of frustrations, they're hidden through this journey. And this is where we come to the indirect methods. With a stent, again, kind of the similar problems, but I mean, they try to avoid the dexterity of the dentist problem. This is what the stents they're trying to solve, really. Which, yes, they do. Indeed, the final shape of the teeth is symmetric, in harmony, because the lab technician has designed it, he didn't like it, he scrapped it, he started all over again till it's perfect, which you cannot do it in the mouth because it's going to take days. But now new problems are arriving with these techniques. First of all, you put way too much composite at once. So remember the degree of conversion? It's not the healthiest thing that we can do to the patients. It's way too much composite at once. No matter how good your light is, I don't think you will achieve a great degree of conversion. It's way too much. That's one thing. For me, though, as a dentist who is executing this technique, the worst is the excess.
I totally agree. Polishing indirect composite bonding can be a pain.
No, it's... And the thing is that we have invented this technique in order to help patients.
Yes.
and the dentist as well. But I don't think that there is a benefit. I don't think it happens faster because, yeah, the whole morphology, it gets there very fast. But if you analyze there are different techniques that they're kind of isolating one tooth and leaving only one tooth at a time. Then you have to isolate the one next to it or one after the other. There are so many different variations of the whole thing, but they keep doing the same thing, really. You still have all the same problems. Still, you need to remove this excess somehow. And when it goes under the gums,
yes, I think it's still a technique-sensitive procedure.
Exactly.
Yes, we're trying to make something a bit easier and slightly more predictable. But at the end, if you have to polish the margins from scratch, if you have to do all the polishing yourself, it's not that predictable at the end.
It defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I remember myself when I was trying these techniques, I was like, okay, I'd rather do it free-handed.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's easier at
least I know that every tooth that I do is done.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is like, first of all, it's so unpredictable at the end of the day that you never know where this thing is. You clean the front and then you look at the back and it's like chaos. It's like, oh my God.
And it's very tiring for the patients as well.
Very, yes. First of all, remember, how do you remove? Oh my God. In some cases, the stent doesn't want to come off.
Yeah.
And it's like, we are laughing, but it's horrible.
I know.
I know. And for the dentist and for the patient. It's like both of them, they're panicking at the same time.
Yeah.
Horror.
Okay, so now that we've talked about the disadvantages of the other techniques, here comes PosiBond.
Yes.
So would you like to tell us a few things of how we came to invent PosiBond and what are the advantages compared to the other techniques?
Yeah. Remember, I mean, but I'm going to say it for everyone too. We were really trying to find the best possible way of doing indirect bonding in order to help and ourselves and the patients. Because I was confident in myself. I've been doing composite bonding for literally 20 years in a row. Super confident, okay. And then I open a practice. And then I'm starting hiring dentists. You know where that goes.
Yes.
And I started thinking, okay, every time someone will ask for a bonding, in reality, I have to do it. Or like, we cannot share the effort in this practice. So the task was literally 3 years ago, wasn't it? Yeah. Let's find the best way to do bonding. So it won't matter if I'm doing it, if Rafaela is doing it, if Janet is doing it, or any other dentist in the world. The delivery, the result should be always the same. And that was the task 3 years ago.
And even one single dentist might not deliver the same result every single time.
Yes.
It depends on so many factors.
Including
so
myself.
I think consistency is the most important. And this is what PosiBond is giving you. It's so predictable that the consistency is there.
Yes. I mean, even myself, I was never delivering always the same thing. And you have good days and bad days. Some days your back is hurting. It's like, we are human beings. We all have our days. We try to deliver the best possible, but it's not always possible. So I have to say 2 funny stories. Funny story number 1, when we were trying to improve the stent technique, because we were doing it as well. Yes. And we had in our laboratory, we had Mariana that we were coming with all these ideas every now and then. It's like, okay, let's do it with a hard plastic. Let's do it with a thin plastic. Let's do it with elastic plastic. Let's do it with silicone. Let's set it after. It was so many different variations. of the same thing in reality,
Yeah.
if you think of it. With matrix bonds, without matrix bonds. Remember, the version that it worked fairly alright, it was with the thin plastic, with the matrix bonds, and we almost lost Mariana's fingers.
Yes.
Because these things, they were so sharp that we were, oh my God. The technician, every time she was trying to do it, she was like cutting herself all the time. My God, horrible. That was the first funny story. Funny story number 2, how we came up with the idea of PosiBond. I went to a seminar, and back then the 3D printers, they had resins only for temporary crowns. There was no permanent crown resin for 3D printers officially produced by a company. Or if it was, I didn't know about it, but I don't think they were. And I'm talking about like 3-4 years ago. Probably there was someone, but
yeah, maybe in the States.
But it was so hard to find them. It wasn't like the commonplace like now. Now it's much better. And I went to one of the hands-on courses that they were teaching us how to actually 3D print models. It was very basic knowledge of 3D printing, and it was kind of like general 3D printing. It wasn't even specialized for dentists as such. You know, it was like general knowledge about 3D printers. And at some point they said like, okay, let me show you some very nice technique for a temporary. So, you know, the mock-ups that we are doing, the wax up for patients, like usually it's a stand that you put a temporary crown material, fit it to the mouth of the patient. After a minute or two, it sets, you remove it, and then the patient can see his future smile. Very messy as well.
But it gives the patient
It gives
an
a good
idea, a rough idea of how it would look. Yeah.
It does, yes, it does. Although I prefer to use that as a temporary after preparations.
We have to be a bit careful when we are setting expectations. First of all, the expectations should be realistic. And also, it's very easy for the patient to be disappointed with the final result if it's not exactly how the temporary looked.
Yes.
Not because it will look worse, but because the patient was expecting something very specific and it's not that.
That's why I don't like mock-ups, because we set the expectation to something, it sticks in their brain. After a week or two, when the delivery is going to happen, this idea, imagine, it has changed in their brain, somehow becomes probably better, you know, because like, how do you remember that thing, you know? And then you put the real thing, and they're like, this is not what you showed me. Of course, it's not the same, but the material is different. You had your teeth underneath when I was showing you, so the shapes, they are slightly deformed, different, more wide or more whatever. The color was different, the translucencies, everything was, the shadowing, everything was different. No, I'm not a believer of mock-ups. And that's why I love PosiBond. First of all, because it's 100% reversible. Worst case scenario, if you don't like what I have done, we can always remove it, which is okay. It never happened, really. Well, it happened a couple of times. But that was for a change of shade, to my defense.
So, shall we talk a little bit about what PosiBond as such is?
So, as I said, the idea came, we were 3D printing temporaries that they were kind of connected, the 4 front teeth together, and you can put them like a, you know, it was like a veneer, one veneer for 4 teeth. And to show to the patient, like, look, you can look like that. And at this point, I was ecstatic. I was like, oh my God, this is it. It's like, why we are not doing the obvious? And I remember I called you so super excited. And I was, Rafaela, screaming my lungs out. This is it. I know how we're going to be doing it. And then it was, the idea was, and this is how the whole idea for PosiBond came. Like, why don't we use 3D printers to do indirectly, not the stand, but the product itself, the tooth itself, and then just take the tooth and stick it. Some people, they will say, yeah, right, you're talking about veneers. Yeah, I beg to differ. It's not veneers, really, because what is the definition of a veneer? We had composite veneers like 20 years ago. We have them. even now. Composite veneers, by the way, produced by the laboratory, great degree
of conversion.
of conversion, yes, because they set chemically, so they have like almost 100%, which is a little bit of a disadvantage as well. We're going to talk about this later, I think. But they were there, and the definition of a veneer is that you have to prepare the tooth, even if it's a minimal, in order to fit this nicely. So, but we literally came with a whole new terminology for 3D bonding. It's we're claiming it, okay? Nobody, we're claiming the term 3D bonding. We have two products now, PosiBond and PosiBond glaze. We're claiming the term because we call the little additions that they're 3D printed, we call them lays. Because out there are inlays, which is something that you put in a prepared tooth inside it. Then we have overlays that you can include the chewing surface of the tooth, maybe the outside as well. So these are overlays. And we were thinking like, okay, how do we call these things? And the term lace, just lace, it represents the whole thing, I think. It's like they lay upon the teeth, and sometimes they are veneers, sometimes they are onlays, sometimes they are overlays, sometimes they are inlays even. So they're so versatile, but all of them, they have one common characteristic. We are not drilling the teeth. And I think this is what makes them different than classic veneers, really. So as I said earlier, we didn't reinvent the wheel or something. The whole technology, everything was there. It was a shift of ideology that we have invented. It was like, yeah, let's do it like that. This is actually that we are testing the last 3 years now, and it works like a dream. I mean, it's amazing. So to be much more specific about what is PosiBond, what is 3D bonding, what we do is we are taking a scan of your teeth with a 3D scanner. Once we have the digital model of your teeth, we are still sending them to the laboratory. The laboratory still designs the new teeth, but we haven't drilled anything. There is no destruction of teeth. And they do their best in order to give you the best possible smile. Are there limitations? Of course there are. There is no perfect technique on the planet. Every technique sacrifices something in order to give you something. Sometimes you have to sacrifice function in order to get aesthetics. Sometimes you sacrifice aesthetics in order to get function. In all techniques. So once the designer has designed everything, then we are 3D printing in the shade of your teeth the lace, the 3D printed lace, the PosiBond, the additions. Now, once we have them, the patient comes, and the only thing that we have to do in reality is prepare the tooth with some special chemicals and glue that we have very commonly used in dentistry for white filling materials. We put a drop of glue in the lay. We stick it there, clean up nicely all around, no messy jobs. That's actually the biggest advantage. And the whole thing can happen literally in 40 minutes. I mean, I've been recording myself. Placing the lace itself, it takes me like 18 minutes, something like that. And then we dedicate a bit more time for cleaning, polishing around, making sure that the bite is working. So the whole process, it takes no longer than 40 minutes. No messy jobs. The margin adaptation, now let's be more technical for the dentists. The margin adaptation, it means like the edge that is touching your gums. It should neither touch them, neither should be away. So there's a very precise position that it should be. When you do this free-handed,
It's not easy to do
Come on.
this. Yeah.
Who can do that? I mean, like, I don't know. You need bionic vision or something. And imagine like the accuracy. Or with a stand, when you press this thing and it gets under your gums. It's like the margin adaptation is probably the biggest nightmare of the dentist for placing either freehand composite, even veneers, porcelain veneers, anything really. Marginal adaptation. I think PosiBond, it does it. It's just spot on. Because think of it, when you place a porcelain veneer, you have literally two different materials there. You have the whatever bond you use, cement, then you have this porcelain.
Yes.
So it can go wrong in two levels there. Either the one or the other might be in excess, more sharp, more point. Anything goes really long, short. But with composite, it's all composite. So you press, you clean, and then they just bond together, the flow composite and the composite that we are using. I mean, the lace. It's just the final result. It's just the same material, really.
It all becomes one.
Yeah, it's
with
just
the
one body, which you have literally polished it before you polish it. It's like.
And this is the answer to the patients that are asking, can anything go in between the composite lay and the tooth? And the answer is no, because it all becomes one.
Yes, they become one body. I mean, if anything goes wrong, that would mean that something went wrong during the bonding itself. But these are iatrogenic mistakes. Like, I hate using big words now, but these are mistakes that they are happening on everyday dentistry anyway. Like, as you clean or as you blow air, maybe like a droplet of saliva is going to end up on the tooth without you noticing. And then the bond is going to fail. But that's not a problem of our system or of the system in general. It's just the main problem that we have in dentistry with anything that we do.
Yeah, it's a mistake that can commonly happen.
It can just happen. Yeah, it happens.
So we've talked about predictability, and this is because we are doing the digital designs and we are 3D printing the PosiBond, so we know in advance how it's going to look, how long they will be, how square, how rounded, so we know the shape. We talked about marginal adaptation, which is amazing, and it's mainly important for the dentists because they won't have to polish the margins at all.
I mean, it's important for the patients.
It is, but usually the patients, they cannot really notice.
They just don't understand how important it is.
Yes, no, it's really important for both of them.
Yeah, it's important because their gums, they're not going to get inflamed in the future, red and bleeding and all that. So yeah, it's super important for the patients, even though they don't realize it.
We talked about degree of conversion.
But not for PosiBond. So yeah, degree of conversion. Yes, I mean, come on, we have improved that as well. So it's a win from every point of view, really. Marginal adaptation, perfect. Bond, perfect. The patient doesn't have to be for 4 hours with his mouth open. Perfect, just 40 minutes, done. The dentist as well. The hardest aspect, if you remember what we said earlier, is to agree with the patient that this is beautiful. And you want to spend time on that. So we can do adjustments at the end because it's composite. And that's another thing that is beautiful about bonding, really. And yes, to come to the degree of conversion, because the printer is printing like literally 15 microns per layer, it's super accurate. I mean, 15 microns, if you divide 1 millimeter into 1,000 and you take 15 out of it, this is how small distance is 15 microns. And this is how precise the printer is. But the biggest advantage is that because the polymerization happens on such thin layers, it's much more full. Now, Some companies, they claim that we can achieve 90 degrees, 90% degree of conversion. I don't know. As a scientist, I cannot just accept it because it's an opinion of a company. But it kind of makes sense that it's going to be much, much bigger than when I'm squirting composite, non-predictably thickness of layer, question mark, and then light, even the light that you're using, it might not be working properly. So there are so many things that you cannot control when you do it free-handedly or with a stand. But the printer, it always works the same way. The predictability is there. You know that the degree of conversion is going to be higher. These thin layers, definitely they polymerize in a better way. There's no way. You know that the light is working in a proper way, because otherwise the printer itself probably is going to give you an error fault, something, and it's going to stop working, or whatever it's going to spit out is going to be horrible, like soft or different.
Is that affecting the strength of the material as well?
Oh my God, yes. Yes, another win. Yes. Yeah, how many wins? Yeah, of course. Bigger degree of conversion, better polymerization. That means that the stability, it's greater. Mechanically, they're stronger. And then the biggest question that every patient asks, will they stain? That's a big one. And it is a big headache for every dentist as well. Now, the staining, the correlation between the degree of conversion and staining is super, super like that. Like, if the degree of conversion, if you don't light properly the material, is going to stain like hell. So you really want this material to be properly polymerized, and in this way you're going to get the least possible staining. Still, it's going to stain. It's still composite. It's not porcelain. Porcelain doesn't stain. Porcelain doesn't stain, and it's harder than your teeth. People, they don't know that. Porcelain is actually, if you bite hard, you will probably break your teeth, not the porcelain. That can be
good and bad at the same
good and
time.
bad. In my opinion, it's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I rather to have something that when I bite hard is going to break the artificial thing instead of breaking my teeth. I don't see because in the industry of dentistry, we see like quite often all the companies, they are kind of pricing how strong their material is. I don't think this is for the advantage of the patient, because if I make a material that is super strong and is keep breaking my teeth, I mean, it's easier. I know it's more expensive financially. Like, you're going to be gutted, like, oh, I had that crown and now it's split in two. But if you had your tooth split in two, then instead of paying this, I don't know, 600, 700, 800 pounds for this crown, you're going to have to pay for the extraction, then pay for maybe an implant, and then pay for the crown as well anyway. So no, I'd rather the crown to split, not my tooth. Yeah. So I think that dentists, not the dentists really, but the companies, that they are insisting of how hard is the porcelain. I don't know. It might sound impressive on documents, but I don't think that it has any benefit really. I would rather, if they were telling me like the tooth and this material, they're exactly the same, hard on the grade of moss, then okay, cool, good. Yes.
So it's stronger than normal composite bonding. It's not staining. I mean, it's not staining as much as the normal composite bonding.
Yes.
The margins are perfect. It's very predictable. It's much, much faster.
Oh, yes.
So in 40 minutes, you can literally fit 10 or 20 teeth.
Yeah. As about the staining, I would like to finish to say something mainly for the patients this time. Because they keep asking, like, will they stain? The best advice that I can give is the first week, don't eat anything that stains. And for my fellow dentists out there, if you're wondering, because what is happening is all these pores, if you look under the microscope of this newly polymerized material, they're literally empty. You have like plenty of millions of little cavities that they are empty.
Mhm.
We have nothing. As you start eating stuff, of course they're going to get trapped in there, and especially oils. So if you keep whatever you're eating in a beige color the first week, then stuff still going to get trapped in your composite, but then this oily layer is going to get created that it works like actually like a shield from there on. So the staining after a week, it's almost zero, at least with PosiBond, because the material is so nicely set that it doesn't allow much staining anyway, compared to traditional techniques. But yeah, that's the best advice. So does it stain? Yes, but with the proper care, you should be absolutely fine. And bear in mind, if you do a regular whitening for 3, 4, 5 days, it will dissolve the staining as well.
And also it heavily depends on the lifestyle of every patient as well.
That's probably the number one. Yes.
So what they're eating, if they eat lots of turmeric, for example, that we know that loves staining the composite bonding, if they're drinking lots of coffee, lots of tea, lots of red wine, if they're smoking, which plays a massive role.
I think that we as dentists, at least, we are noticing the differences in the staining on the different ethnicities of people.
That's true.
Some people, they love coffee. Some people, they love turmeric stuff with turmeric. Some people, they love tea. Tea is the worst stainer, by the way, and turmeric. These are the worst. People think that coffee does it, but it's not. The coffee is not that bad. Tea, turmeric, stay away from them.
Okay, lovely. So we talked about the advantages of PosiBond, and now that it sounds very appealing to all these people, who can have PosiBond?
Oh, I mean, any dentist or doctor will probably give you the same answer to this one. It depends. Every case is different. The good news is now that PosiBond literally can be applied to, would you agree with me? Like, can we say 95%?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could potentially say
Yeah,
that.
I think 95% of people, yes, can have PosiBond as long as you have your teeth in your mouth. I mean, bonding your teeth, this is the whole point, that I'm bonding my teeth. If they are not there, there's nothing to bond, really. So, major limitation is if you have your teeth. So, yeah.
But it's quite important to say to patients that see us now that we can do composite bonding on many patients without having clear aligners first. Again, depends on the case, of course. It's always better if your dentist sees you in person and then agrees that you can go for it. But we can do it even without having clear aligners, and we can do it even if people already have composite bonding.
Yes.
Can we do it if they have crowns or veneers?
Excellent question.
These are the most commonly asked questions.
Yeah, I can see that you have done your stuff there. I see what you're doing there. Yeah, excellent question. That actually, this answer applies to both end patients and dentists. Yes, you can bond on top of crowns or bridges, which is a major headache for patients and for dentists. Because how many times a patient comes and he tells you, oh, I had that bridge 7 years ago, it's okay, but it functions, but it doesn't look nice. The porcelain is broken, or over the years, the color has changed. I don't like it. Even the shape itself.
The margins might be visible because of the gum recession.
One of the biggest problems, the margins, yes, the gum recession. Now you can see the tooth, the crown, space, gum line. Yes, PosiBond can fix that.
That's amazing. I think that's amazing because many patients that have old crowns or veneers, they don't want to have them removed
Yes.
because there are risks coming with that.
Even the dentists, they don't want to remove them.
That's true. So it's really, really important for anyone to know that we can actually fix that. We can actually cover them.
Yes, we've been doing that the last 3 years. No failures.
Mhm.
It bonds on top of porcelain or metal or zirconium. It just bonds, and it doesn't pop. It just stays. Yes.
Yes.
As long as the technique, there is a way of doing it. Okay,
Mhm.
so it's not like I bond done. There is a way. There's a specific way that we've been testing for a long time, and it just works, which is crazy. I mean, I know that even the dentists at the moment, they're like, really?
No, it's actually quite impressive.
Yeah, it is
Yes.
impressive. Actually, it's impressive that it stays, because I was thinking at the beginning, like, you know what, I'm giving it 3 months, maybe 6,
As a temporary solution for a patient to
And we were
see.
warning all
Yeah.
our patients as well, like, look, this one, I don't know. Like, let's try it. Let's put on top of your crown, on your bridge. And oh my God, 3 years later, it's just working. I don't know in 5, but for 3
We'll
years
be
is good.
here.
I mean, 3 years is still good.
It is excellent if you think that the other option would be to have it removed and then have a new one, which is much more expensive. And also it comes with the complications.
Which
For
is
example,
even worse.
yeah,
Okay,
it might
let's
need
say
a
that
root
you have the
canal.
money. Okay, but complications, you don't know what's going to happen once you remove that bridge.
Yeah, especially if it's quite old.
Yes.
Okay, so whitening, because we know that most of the patients that come for composite bonding, they want them to look really, really white. Can they choose how white the composite will be? And is it important or even necessary to whiten their teeth before we do the PosiBond?
Yes. Yeah, we love whitening.
We love whitening.
We love it so much that we are giving it for free. Yeah, it's so important. I mean, before you do any bonding, please whiten your teeth. It's super important. Because it makes the shade everywhere the same. Or if it doesn't, then we know which teeth are different.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we know which different teeth they don't want to go white, we can paint them. So we can apply opacers on them before we bond in order to equalize the shade everywhere. Because I mean, isn't that the whole point of having a nice smile? You don't want to have this one tooth that is gray or two. Uniformity, yes, the same shade all over.
Mm-hmm.
And whitening, it's a huge part. I mean, at the beginning, we were charging for the whitening. And some people, they were like, oh, yeah, I'm paying already a lot because of that. So can we skip the whitening thing? But it was really destroying.
The result was not perfect.
The final result, it wasn't perfect.
Yes.
So for me, whitening is mandatory. It's not optional if you do bonding.
Mm-hmm. And this is actually the answer to those patients that are asking, can we mask a discolored tooth? Because some teeth after a root canal treatment, they might not get whiter with a normal whitening treatment. But as you have already said, we can mask them nicely with some opacers. So then we can make a nice uniform shade. And then, of course, we can apply the composite bonding.
Yeah. So in our practice, we're just giving the whitening for free. If you say that you want to do bonding, we give you the price for the bonding, the whitening. Don't worry, it's on us.
And we have to say that patients can choose how white the composite will be.
Yeah.
So it's up to them. We don't agree.
But that's the other nice thing of having a whitening, because some people, they're like, oh, I don't want them to be too white. Or some people, they're like, I want them to be like super white. So once you give the whitening, it has to be the home kit whitening. That's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
People, for some reason, they have this faulty impression that a good whitening, it happens in the surgery under the blue lights and all that.
Which is not true.
Not true. Not far from the truth. No. What I'm always saying to every one of my patients, if you tell me, Harris, I have an interview tomorrow on BBC in the morning show, I want my teeth white. I'll be like, yep, come here, sit down, let me whiten your teeth. The blue light, I don't know, it's a gimmick. It's not working anyway. It's the material itself. I can use in the surgery strongest percentage whitening material. And yes, your teeth are going to get very white very fast. And they're going to go back to normal very fast.
That's true.
So this is the disadvantage of doing the whitening in the surgery if you don't support it with the proper night trace or 2 hours per day. I mean, with 2 hours per day, it's okay. It works. Yes.
Now that we're talking about whitening and how white the composite can be, will it look like turkey teeth? Because this is a very common question.
Turkey teeth. I don't know where they find this material. Really, I was always wondering. Do they have like some special?
It's too white.
It's very white, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I don't see this white anywhere in Europe.
No, not even the porcelain.
Yeah. I mean, when you try to do that, I don't think it's possible. I don't know. I think they have their own mines. And they're mining this silica.
Or I have a theory. It might be because they are damaging quite a lot of the teeth. So the teeth underneath are so small that the material will be too thick. And because the crowns or the veneers are too thick, they appear whiter because they are very...
So you reckon because they make the abutments really... Okay, that's very technical now, but...
Yes, that the tooth left is very... Yes, it's very small.
The peg, it's very small, so the material is too thick.
The layers are thicker and there are too many, so then it appears maybe a bit whiter. That could be the case.
At this point, though, I have to say for our colleagues in Turkey, I wouldn't want them to think that we are saying anything bad about them. I believe that there are very good dentists everywhere. It doesn't matter which country you live, So I think it's a little bit of a myth as well that in Turkey the dentists are bad. Like everywhere, there are bad dentists or average dentists, which is probably the majority. And there are some very good dentists as well. I think the main problem in going to Turkey is, I know we're out of the subject a little bit now, but I think that the main problem is the time that they have to execute all the procedures. How can you deliver a good result in, 3, 4, 5 days or 1 week? Especially when you need to prepare multiple teeth. It's impossible.
That could be a problem, but I understand that if a dental practice is really big and they have a laboratory in there, they might make this possible. What I don't agree with is the fact that they're really invasive. Because now all this time we're talking about non-invasive cosmetic dentistry. And this is why we love PosiBond, because we're not damaging the teeth. So we're giving the luxury to the people to actually change their minds, which is something that you don't have when you have your teeth damaged. Because if you change your mind in a couple of years, you cannot get your teeth back. With PosiBond, you can change your mind, let's say in 10 years, and then have them removed without damaging any of your enamel, and then do something else. So I think this is what I don't agree with what the majority does in Turkey. The fact that they're massively damaging the teeth.
Yes. I mean, okay, first of all, this vidcast, it's all about non-invasive dentistry. So we are the non-invasive dentists. That's it. Whatever we do at Positeeth, it's all about non-invasive dentistry. This is really, I think this is why we're doing this channel, actually. I think it's all about non-invasive dentistry and how and why. As I said as well, I don't believe that there are necessarily bad dentists in Turkey. The techniques that they are using, they are invasive, yes. I mean, there are invasive techniques in UK as well.
Everywhere, yes.
Everywhere.
The reason why I initially asked is because patients, when they think of composite bonding, because they might not be informed well enough, they think that this is what we're talking about. This is why I thought it's quite important.
No, I think that's the beauty of PosiBond, that we would never drill your teeth. Or if we have to take like a little sharp corner, maybe, we will ask you in advance and we're going to be telling you. And of course, with no injections or pain or anything. It's all about just to create a little bit of a smooth edge, because sometimes the sharp edges, they can actually crack, and they can crack even the composite. So we want them ideally to be a little bit smoothened, but that is not affecting your teeth at all. And yes, and I think the biggest advantage of PosiBond, if you're asking me, is that, let's say 7, 8, 10 years down the line, once your gums have receded, because the gums are receding forever. It's not our fault, guys. Sorry. This is what's going to happen after 10 years. The material is going to still be there, but your gums probably are going to be a little bit higher. When that happens eventually, you are able to remove everything. Your teeth actually have been preserved all these years because you had a nice protective coat on top of them, at least the front side. At the back, cannot help you there. And imagine what materials they're going to be there out in 10 years' time.
Yeah, we're very excited to see what materials will be there for 3D printing.
Yes.
So how long would you say roughly the composite bonding is expected to last? Would we say up to 8 to 10 years?
Yes. I mean, it hasn't been tested officially. I don't think that anyone can have any papers at this point. We can probably we could have ourselves, but so many things to do every day. But we can assume that any other white filling, that we know this material has been out there like 50 years now, it lasts usually up to 10, 12 years. So what we say to all our patients as well is like, it heavily depends on how you're using your teeth. If you keep biting forks and metals all day long, probably they won't last as long as if you don't brush, don't floss, don't like super important stuff, then of course it's artificial, okay? It's not your real teeth at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if it's porcelain or composite, it's going to go bad if you don't take care of your teeth. Hygiene, super important. We have educated and trained our hygienists to specially clean teeth with composite bonding. We always advise them on how to do it in a very careful way. Because what you don't want is, you don't want to scratch the composite. You want it to be nice and smooth at all times, so it won't stain. That's the main thing. What was the question?
How long does it usually last? But you've answered this question.
Yes.
Yeah, you covered
I would
that.
say anything between 6 to 12 years, really. Yeah, 6, 8, 10.
So, can PosiBond break?
Of course. Yes.
I think it's quite important for patients to understand that when composite bonding breaks, when PosiBond breaks, it doesn't mean that the material is faulty. So this is something that we can always predict. Composite can potentially break, it's not as strong as porcelain.
Yeah.
So we have to avoid biting really hard things.
But this goes to the previous conversation that we had, that I rather a material that breaks instead of breaking my tooth.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the alternative is to have porcelain there, which means that you have drilled your teeth already a bit, and then your lower teeth, they might suffer because of that porcelain. So when a tooth breaks, I mean, when you have bonded PosiBond, it's okay. It's part of the game. So what?
We can always fix it.
And that's the beauty of it. Composite is repairable. You will never be able to see where the repair happened. And we can do it literally in 10 minutes. So maybe after a year or two, whenever they're going to break, I mean, especially the first week, this is the advice for every patient, that the first week is the discovery week. We cannot predict the forces in your mouth before you start using your mouth to eat.
That's true.
So the advice is first, second week, things probably actually they're going to break. So we're not telling them that nothing will break. We're actually telling them, yes, things, they will break. That's okay. Don't panic. Don't freak out. Come back to us. In literally 5 to 10 minutes, we will know now that, okay, here the pressure is way too much. I cannot make it that long. I need to make it a little bit shorter there. And then we are adjusting everything. We repair it. Magic.
And the same applies to bruxists as well. So people that are grinding or clenching their teeth, of course, we are giving them a night guard to wear to protect the composite bonding and their natural teeth as well. But if the composite breaks, we can actually see which areas are getting more pressure, and then we can adjust the composite bonding.
Yes. That's another thing that we are doing for free anyway. Not just the whitening for free, but at the end of the treatment, once we finish with everything, we are always giving you a retainer in order to protect your teeth. Usually, if people, they don't realize it, but they do clench at night, periods that they are more stressed, they don't have to be bruxist even. Like imagine that I have to pay £80,000 the taxman.
Everyone is stressed anyway. Yeah.
You're gonna probably clench at night when you go to sleep. So having a retainer, it protects your teeth because usually the fracture happens at night, and then patients are coming and telling us, you know what, this thing is really faulty because I just had a soft bread and it broke. No, it wasn't the bread that did the damage. The damage happened probably at night when you were sleeping. You started squeezing or clenching or grinding. And that's why it's a good idea to have a retainer. And also, our teeth, they're moving for life. That's why everyone after an orthodontic treatment has a night retainer, orthodontic retainer. So super important to have a retainer, even if you never had orthodontics. Your teeth probably will move.
Eventually, yes.
Eventually. There are some lucky guys that they never move. But the majority of people, their teeth are actually moving. And they don't realize it even over the years. They just more and more overlapped, crooked. Let's use the simple word.
But especially the ones that had an orthodontic treatment before and they have composite bonding after, really important to never miss even a night without the retainer.
Yes, super important.
The teeth really want to go back to their initial position.
Yep.
Okay, lovely. So you mentioned at some point that we have two versions of PosiBond. So we have the normal one, the PosiBond, and we have the PosiBond glaze.
Yes.
Would you like to tell us a few things about that? Because we have recently introduced the glaze version and we are super excited about it.
Super excited. Yes, super excited. So I mean, the biggest disadvantage of composite is that it stains compared to porcelain. This is the holy grail of composites, really, like whoever solves that problem. And yes, there is a solution. Super excited. So now we're created a version of PosiBond that is glazed. It's super shiny. It looks exactly the same as if it's a porcelain tooth, but it's not. And it doesn't stain. It doesn't stain at all, which is crazy.
Can we apply the glaze after fitting them?
Yes. Glaze version doesn't stay from day one. You don't have to avoid anything for the first week. Just go for it. Go, turmeric, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Tea. Can potentially get, because teeth after 5, 6, 7 years, some natural wear will occur. And they might stain at these little points, but still they're going to be on the occlusal surfaces. So probably they won't.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yes. I mean, that was our main concern of how to make this the best possible way. But even when we came to the conclusion that even if they do stain at some point in the future, we can just reglaze them. And that's it, really. And job done, which is amazing stuff.
So most patients are quite worried about the maintenance because we talked about, of course, brushing and flossing and visiting the hygienist. But apart from doing that, which is the basics, do they have to have them polished? And if yes, who can polish them? Does it have to be the dentist? Can it be the hygienist?
Yeah, hygienist, yeah, super important. Yes. Um, we are kind of forcing all of our patients to come back for hygiene every 4 months. Yeah, it's super important because it is still artificial material. In between your teeth, everything should be nice and clean. Now, the hygienist that does the cleaning, they should be informed as well. And you don't want to use on the composite abrasive discs and stuff like that. You don't want to scratch them really. So, as I said earlier, our hygienists are super educated, and we make sure that they know the best possible way of cleaning. And in this way, you keep your composite constantly free of staining, and you can combine it with chemical cleaning, which is whitening in reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So you can clean them chemical way with just a simple whitening. Mechanically, with your hygienist, I would strongly recommend every 4 months, and you will never lose your teeth in the future like that.
And patients can still have their dental checkups, nothing changes. Composite bonding cannot give you decay because people are a bit worried. Is
Yes.
composite bonding going to damage my teeth in the long term?
Yeah.
But that's not the case. If decay occurs, that's because we're not brushing properly, we're not flossing properly. Of course, an artificial material like composite can attract more plaque, but if you don't have a proper hygienist appointment, then the composite could potentially occur. It's not the composite
It's
itself.
not the composite itself that,
Yes.
yeah, it's the after treatment. Yeah, super important. Seeing the hygienist to make sure that you don't have plaque that can potentially start any decay at any spot. People are, yeah, that question actually they're asking me quite often. Like, now that I have the bonding, can I have a checkup? I mean, is it going to hide something? No, don't worry. No, it cannot hide anything unless if it was something there originally and we have covered it. But we would never do that. It's like out of the question.
Yeah.
If we say that you need filling or you have a little bit of decay here and there, either if it's something small, we're going to clean it ourselves, or we're going to send you to your dentist to do the fillings before you come. And so ideally, yeah, before you do the bonding, you need your teeth, they need to be 100%. And the gums as well. Sometimes, if you have, let's say, an occlusal molar, you need a filling on an occlusal molar, and we just apply in a buccal composite bonding, still it doesn't affect. The dentist can still do the filling. Even if you develop decay after 5, 6, 7 years between two teeth that they actually have bonding, it's not because the bonding was there. It was because of the sugar that it wasn't cleaned properly. The floss especially wasn't as thorough or none. And but even in this case, your general dentist still can spot the decay, still can do the fillings without even affecting your bonding. The bonding is just, if anything, the bonding actually protects your buccal surfaces. They're going to be like brand new after 10 years if you remove it.
So, can we mention briefly the appointments that are needed in order to get there to the perfect smile?
Oh.
So, most of the patients know that they need a consultation, and I think it's pretty important now to mention that an in-person consultation is needed, because no matter how many photos the patients will send, we cannot say for sure that we can actually do it. But can we talk a little bit about how many appointments we need and how long will the appointments be? Roughly, just to give an idea to people how many times they will have to visit the dental practice and what they should expect from every appointment, from the fitting appointment, if they don't like the color, the shape, just a few things about that.
Yeah, I would say super important for them, first of all, to to visit us. We get so much more information. I mean, we've tried, and we do have online consultations, but it's mainly kind of like an informative consultation. Is not much, because if we don't really see what's going on in your mouth, we cannot take a decision on how many teeth. Can you actually have bonding line? Do you have any decay there? I mean, it's very hard to tell from a photo. So once you visit us, what we do is we are taking a scan of your teeth. Super simple process. Just it's literally like a camera in your mouth that takes multiple photos. Very convenient, very easy. You don't need the nasty impressions and stuff like that. We don't do that anymore, which is great. People love that. Once we have the scan, we're taking some photos of your face, because when we design your new smile, we are actually adjusting it to your face, to your smile. Super important to have the photos. Don't worry, they don't go on Instagram if you don't want to. We're placing on Instagram only people that they wish to have to be there. So once we design your smile, at some point back in the days, we were showing to the patients, but as we said earlier, it sets wrong expectations. We stopped doing it. It's because we get lots of information out of it. We know exactly if it's going to suit you or not, what to change. So it's mainly for us.
Still, if a patient really wants to see how they could potentially look, we can show them.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, we can share the digital design, but honestly, patients don't get as much information as we do, because it's a digital design. At the end of the day, it's AI based, so
and they get the wrong information as well, because for example, the 3D presentation is always white
and big and long
and big, and yes, and it starts in different levels, because we can always reduce, but it's a headache to add. So we always like to start with big stuff, and then we can always go smaller. Once we have the design, the 3D design, then I forgot to say that on the day of the scan, we agreed that, okay, we're doing this. Literally the next day, people can come and take their whitening trays, which is super important. So they pass by, they collect the whitening gel, the whitening trays, and you do the whitening for 10 days in a row. After the 10 days, they can either visit us to check the shade of the teeth, or we have some special shade guides that we can add to the bag, and they can take a selfie, so we can still see which one is the shade if they don't feel like coming to the practice again. Because some people actually, they live outside Bristol. Thank you so much for your trust, for coming from all over England. It's super flattering, honestly. It's super flattering. So yeah, for these cases, we have the little selfie, and now we know the shade. Now that we know the shade, we can 3D print your lace, and we print them the same shade as your teeth. Sometimes, if some people, they really want white teeth, we can push them a little bit higher, but you don't want to be like very different, like the top from the bottom.
Yeah. Unless we're doing all of them, both top and bottom, so then we can go as white as they wish.
Then we can go wherever you want. But in average, like the biggest amount of people, they do just the top teeth, to say that as well. And then we have the issue of, you don't want super white top teeth and yellow lower teeth.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So the whitening, by the way, we have to say that as well, it's for top and bottom teeth. It's not just for the arch that we are treating, it's for the whole mouth. And once the whitening is there, then we need to wait. This is the most important, 2 weeks of resting period after the whitening, because the chemistry is changing. And we were talking about the polymerization earlier. Now, if we put the glue, the polymerization, when it's touching teeth that they are freshly whitened, it doesn't occur properly. And then you are in danger all of your teeth to start dropping, literally, which is horrible.
Not the teeth, the composite.
I'm not your teeth. Sorry. The lace, the composite bond. The lace, they're going to start dropping, which is horrible. So one of the mistakes that they can occur. So don't be cheeky and whiten your till the last day, because you're going to lose all your bonding.
Lovely. So 10 days of whitening, 2 weeks of resting period, and then we have the fitting appointment.
And then the fitting appointment.
How long does the fitting appointment last?
So yeah, first appointment, just half an hour, scan photos, bye. We're explaining you everything.
Mm-hmm.
Second appointment, if you don't come for the shade, it's usually after 21, 22 days, 25 days, you can calculate. And it lasts for literally, if it's just the top teeth, we are booking you an hour, but usually after 40 minutes we have finished already. And then we just chatting, taking photos, having all these great moments that we have with all of our patients, like, oh.
Can we talk a little bit about the first reactions?
Yes.
Because I think it's pretty important to inform people what to expect.
Yeah.
Because the first reaction is not always the one that we are expecting,
Yes.
but that's normal.
Which has shocked us at the beginning.
Yes.
Yes. Remember?
Because people were so shocked when they were looking at themselves. They would cry. They would say,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, they're not what I wanted. They're too big. They're too long."
So many different reactions.
And we were so confused. But
Yes.
there were other people, especially the ones with the caps, that we were closing the caps, that were crying from happiness.
Yeah.
And they loved it. So we didn't really know what to expect. But I think after a couple of years of doing this, now we know pretty much what to expect. Now we know that people need time to get used to them.
Yeah. Very, very important point. Because people, by the way, if you go at Mr. Positeeth and Dr.
Raffaella Mavrodi.
Yes, Mavrodi. You can check all our photos there and videos of before and after, even reactions of patients, but mainly the photos of before and afters. And as you browse them, every patient that I have asked is always telling me, like, do you like the before and afters on my Instagram? And they're like, oh my God, yes, they are amazing.
Yes.
You know, like all of them, they're amazing. And then, you know what? 80% of these people, when they first saw their teeth, they said, I don't like it.
Yeah.
They're too big. I don't like it.
Too wide. Yeah.
Too long, too anything, but not, I don't like it. And at the beginning, we were shocked.
Yeah.
We didn't know, because we are looking at the patient and we are like, oh my God, you look amazing. And the patient was like, I don't like it. And I was like, okay, what's going on here? What's happening? It was. Then we learned that the brain of the patient needs a minimum of 4, 5, sometimes even 7 days before it accepts the new smile. The brain is fighting to go back to what it wants, knows that it's me, and I look like that.
Yeah.
This is not me. This is someone else. And I'm always saying to my patients, like, look, at the beginning, you will feel as if you have on your face somebody else's teeth.
Which is essentially true, because these are not the teeth that they initially had.
Yeah.
And also, if you've spent all these years, 30, 40, 50 years, with your teeth as they used to be, the new smile needs to grow on you a little bit. You need to give yourself some time, to your brain, to get used to it.
Yeah, super important. As I said at the beginning, I couldn't believe that this is happening. Like, we had patients literally crying and saying, I hate it. And then 5 days later, they're like, thank you for not taking it off and telling me to spend 5 days with my teeth.
Yeah.
I love them. It was like, every day that I'm looking at myself on the mirror, I was like, oh my God, this is so nice. And then the 5th day, it was like, my God, my smile is perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, it's crazy.
Even the next day, they feel much better. Yeah. But I wanted to mention that because it's really important for everyone to know that they need to be patient. They need to give themselves some time. I would say definitely a week.
Yes.
And then, of course, we can always change anything.
And that's the beauty of it, that because we want to do adjustments on the teeth straight after we have fitted them. But my perception of beautiful is different than yours.
Yes.
So even if I think that I don't like it, we have learned not to touch.
Yes.
Because you may like it.
Yeah.
It might be for you, it might be the thing that you really want.
Mm-hmm.
So we never touch the first day. We don't do the adjustments the first day. Super important. And for all the dentists out there, don't wait for 1 week. After a week, if indeed something is off, the patient, it will know exactly to tell you, I don't like my canals, they are too pointy, I want them flat. Brilliant. Now we know what to do. Or I don't like my front teeth, they are like bunny, like they're too long, or they are too wide. And the beauty is that we can fix all that.
Yes.
And it's easy when you know.
No, but we can change the shape, the size, how wide, how narrow they appear.
They appear. That's
Yes.
the secret here. Yes. Yeah, because we cannot make a wide tooth, your teeth, if they are wide, we cannot make them narrower. That would mean that we're going to have to drill them. But we have tricks to make them look as if they are narrower. Yes, they appear as if they are.
So there is another commonly asked question that we get after this week that patients love their smile. Usually they start with less teeth and they want to add more. Can they add more? Because most of the patients, especially the ones that are really worried about how it's going to look, they start, let's say, with 4 teeth, and maybe later they might want to add more. So can we add more teeth?
That's a double-raised knife.
I mean, the answer is yes. They
It is a yes, but not always.
Yeah.
Because if you, for example, have a narrow arch and you want to add only the 4 front teeth, we're going to make them in a way that they're going to fit with the rest of your arch. So they're going to be as tight as possible. They're not going to be, like, they won't be protruding is the word. I don't know how. Yeah. So they won't be protruding that much. And if you decide to put the buck teeth later, they might start looking out of place. So in an ideal world, we should design the smile from the beginning, because then we can create a nice harmony over 8 teeth or 10 teeth. So if you put just the 4 front, we're going to try to adjust them to your smile as it is to look in harmony. So sometimes it's not possible to create that harmony just by adding. But if, for example, you have up to 4 and then you realize that the 5s, you don't like them, adding the 5s is never a problem. So yes, you can add, but it's a good idea to ask your dentist before you decide that. Because sometimes we might be telling you like, oh yeah, it's absolutely fine to add your teeth later on, to like, let's start with 4 and then in the end you might end up with 8. That's good. But sometimes we might be telling you, in your case, I would go straight away for the 8. Don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying to my patients as well. I'm always saying, if you were thinking of going for more teeth in the near future, let's say in a couple of months, it definitely makes sense to design your smile from the beginning, because it will be much more balanced. But of course, because it's composite, we can always adjust it. So yes, we can always add more teeth. Ideally, we want to do as many as you want from the beginning. But if not, because sometimes, I don't know, for financial reasons, or because we're kind of self-conscious that we might not like it, we can even decide a bit later on.
It's not the end of the day. It's not the end of the world if you add later on teeth. But yeah, it's a nice thing to have them in advance, to do the design as a whole.
So, prices. I mean, the prices are constantly changing,
Yeah.
so we cannot really guarantee that whenever people will see this video, the prices will be the same. So I don't know if there is, point in mentioning, but do they have the option of paying in installments? Because this is quite important for people to know that
Yeah.
they don't really have to pay in full.
Now, as about pricing, every practice in every city, every region, every area, they literally define their prices according to the needs of the practice. So it's very hard to tell that, okay, this is how much it's going to cost you. But the sure thing is that the price usually it's half of what you would have paid for porcelain, at least half, and sometimes it's even 1/3 of the porcelain. You have to do your research really on that. That's one thing. So definitely more affordable than porcelain, and definitely non-destructive. These are the two major points to go for a bonding. And finance, yes, of course, finance. Yeah, why not? Why not? It's so much easier you just divide the whole thing in, let's say, 12 months. Now you have a lump sum of it. It depends on you how many teeth you're adding, but it might be like, I don't know, £100 per month or something, more digestible.
So, is there a specific toothbrush or toothpaste that patients that had composite bonding should use, or can they use any of them?
I would definitely just use your common sense really on this one. You don't want to scratch the composite, because if you scratch it, it's going to start staining. So traditionally, whitening toothpastes, they do use abrasive particles, some of them. So I would be avoiding whitening toothpaste, which they're not even whitening. I don't know why they put in that.
Or whitening powders.
Oh my God, stay away from all these whitening powders, especially this, I don't know, charcoal, whatever, purple, all this. Oh my God, please stay away from all that, because they're super abrasive, especially the charcoal. And it's going to scratch your surface, and from there on, your composite is going to be getting yellow literally in 2 days. It's going to freak you out. Then you need our hygienists to polish nicely your composite again, and then it's going to go away.
And toothbrushes, they can use either a manual one or an electric one.
Toothbrush, I mean, the electric toothbrushes, they have proven that they're better in general. If you're not using an electric toothbrush, please switch to one. It's always a good idea. But yeah, you can use any toothbrush, really, manual or electric, it doesn't matter. But yeah, avoid anything abrasive, bicarbonate, charcoal. It's like whitening toothpaste. Don't stay away from them.
Now, is there a guarantee if any of the composite bonding layers break?
Yes. In our premises, at least, we do give 4 months. The first 4 months, they are the most crucial, really, because, as I said earlier, this is kind of the discovery phase. Even though the discovery phase lasts for like the first couple of weeks, it's not more than that usually, but still things may happen the first 4 months. If nothing is happening after 4 months, then probably nothing is ever going to happen, or you're going to have the occasional accident, which it's not it's not up to us to predict if you're going to have any accidents in the future. So, yeah. I think it was very informative, the whole thing. And I'm hoping that people, they will enjoy the whole thing. And I think we have managed to, don't you think?
Yeah, I think we've managed to answer most of the questions people have, both dentists and patients.
And dentists, funnily enough.
I think now they got an idea of what PosiBond.
There's one thing that I always wanted to say. Please subscribe. Yes, please subscribe.
Like this video,
share it with everyone,
any people that might be interested.
And I would like to say that if you're a patient, it's a great choice. We're going to be always talking about non-invasive dentistry on this channel. If you're a dentist, think of it of joining our seminars and become part of the family. You will enjoy delivering PosiBond treatments. Yes.
Thank you so much for today.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. I love that.